as they creep through turns 3 and 4. As you see, once they get to that white line, they will accelerate down the front straightaway. Jennison pulls even with Rockhold running to turn number 1. Don Drow Jr. up top goes from 6th to 4th now, gets stuck behind Madsen. Rockhold is the big lead going down the backstretch. Keep your eye on that 1M car of Don Drow Jr. working the high side. Kerry Madsen now goes low on Steve Jennison in turn number 2. Madsen has 2nd, Jennison to 3rd, Don Drow Jr. 4th. Randy Anderson currently 5th, 1 spot out of the transfer. Up front continues to be Manny Rockhold, stretching it out over Kerry Madsen in 2nd. There you see Leonard Lee, John Vandenberg almost getting together, coming off turn number 2. Vandenberg continues to hold the 6th spot over Leonard Lee. Now Don Drow looks to the inside of Steve Jennison in turn number 1. He's got it. Slide job. Don Drow Jr. goes to 3rd. Randy Anderson now sets his sights on Steve Jennison in the 4th and final transfer spot. Jennison high, Anderson low through turn number 4. Anderson pulls even down the front straightaway. Up front, Manny Rockhold just stretching it out here. Got almost a straightaway lead over 2nd place Kerry Madsen. John Vandenberg now goes low on Steve Jennison through turn number 4. Now Don Drow Jr. beginning to work on the 82 machine of Kerry Madsen. Turn number 1, Don Drow Jr. goes low, slides up, just edges in front of Kerry Madsen in turn number 2. Junior's got 2nd, Madsen goes to 3rd. Randy Anderson runs 4th, John Vandenberg 5th. White flag is out for your leader, white flag out for Manny Rockhold. Rockhold enters turn number 3 the same time Don Drow Jr. comes out of turn number 2. Coming down the front straightaway, picking up the win. That's Manny Rockhold. Don Drow Jr. comes from 2nd. 3rd will go to Kerry Madsen. 4th to Randy Anderson.
Getting set to go as we'll try this once again. That moves Brent Antel up 1 position. And Dennis Moore Jr. falling back up in line there to the white line in turn number 4. They'll stack them up. Green flag's underway. Dave Westerkamp jumps out to the early lead. Here comes Matt Morrow. Look at him go down the back chute. Holy horsepower down the back straightaway. Matt Morrow shoots down the back chute off turn 4, shows the way. He's got the ostrich horsepower, whistling Dixie tonight here at Knoxville. As the top 4 cars will transfer onto the feature event. Dennis Moore Jr. runs 2nd, Dave Westerkamp 3rd. Mark Taves with a strong run into turn number 3 to the bottom side. Got it, takes over 3rd. Mark Taves, both elbows up, racing off turn number 4 up into the 3rd spot. Dave Westerkamp running 4th now. Skip Jackson up to challenge to the bottom, side by side in 2. Down the back straightaway, Westerkamp trying to hold off Jackson as they race into turn 3, not gonna do it. Skip Jackson now up into the 4th and final transfer. Calvin Landis also attacking on Westerkamp in the bottom side of turn 1. Slide job coming up, got it, takes over 5th. Matt Morrow showing the way in the splash. Carl Chevrolet, DuPont Automotive finishes. Tony Morrow Auto Body. Moose Magneto's the Williams Group, car number 33. Dennis Moore Jr. running 2nd. Mark Taves is 3rd. Skip Jackson 4th. Calvin Landis 5th. Dave Westerkamp, Brent Antill, Derek Beckman, and Shane Hunter. 4 down, 4 to go here in this 8-lap Advanced Auto Parts Heat Race event. Matt Morrow still showing the way, but now Dennis Moore Jr. reeling him in. Oh, lap after lap, Derek Beckman gets a little bit higher than he'd like to be. Still up over the cushion in turn 2. Dennis Moore Jr. reeling in your race leader off turn number 2. Morrow gets a bit over the cushion. Driving it back into the high side of the speedway. White flag, 1 to go. This time by if Dennis Moore Jr. wants it. He's going to have to come and get it. about 3 car lengths to distance. Now call it 2 as they race into turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Matt Morrow still showing the way. Dennis Moore Jr., Mark Taves, and Skip Jackson. The 4 cars in transfer position off turn 4. Your winner is going to be Matt Morrow. Dennis Moore Jr. running second, Mark Taves third, Skip Jackson running fourth. Well, the yellow lights are off. The pace truck pulls to the infield. The DeVore Motors Chevrolet pickup pulling in on the back chute. Colin Northway, one of the 410 rookie contenders here at the Knoxville Raceway, sets the pace to the white line in turn 4, green flag. Well, Travis Whitney puts it up on the cushion right away and takes off to the early lead. Now Larry Pinniger running second. Only 4 cars will transfer. Colin Northway slides back to third. Now Jeff Matrician up into the 3rd spot. Northway falls back to 4th. Jamie Moyle moves around Walraven for the 5th spot is now Johnny Lamberts. Looks to the bottom side of Northway. Got it! Slide job in turn 2. Down the back straightaway and into turn number 4. Travis Whitney showing the way off the high side of turn 4. Larry Pinniger still running second. Now Jeff Matrician in that 3rd spot, reeling him in. Nose to tail, your race for second. Off turn number 2, Larry Pinniger still holding that number 2 position as Matrician settling into that 3rd spot. John Lambert's running 4th. Now Jamie Moyle in 5th. Moyle to the bottom side, takes a look to Lambert off turn 4, but Lambert able to hold momentum up on the cushion, takes it down the front straightaway. Moyle as well in tow. Now Northway pulling back up on the bumper of Jamie Moyle down the back straightaway. This time by 4 laps down, 4 to go for your race leader, Travis Whitney. Travis Whitney, Larry Pinniger, Jeff Matrician, and John Lambert, your top 4 cars working the transfer position. Jamie Moyle still running in the 5th spot, trying to make his way into tonight's feature event. 1 spot short at this time, as Matrician still puts the heat on Larry Pinniger, slides right up behind him over in turn 2, nose to tail down the back straightaway. Now about 1.5 to 2 cars distance between those 2 positions. Pinniger rides high, Matrician goes low. If you look back 1 more spot, you're racing for that 4th and final transfer. Jamie Moyle still trying to work on John Lamberts as Lamberts holds the 4th spot. Both those cars work the cushion off turn number 2. Meanwhile, your leader, Travis Whitney, works off turn 4, gets 1 big eyeful of the white flag. 1 to go for Travis Whitney. Larry Pinniger still in that number 2 spot. Jeff Matrician working 3rd. John Lambert still running 4th as they work off the back straightaway for the final time. Your leader off turn 4. Checkered flag in hand, your winner, Travis Whitney. Larry Pinniger running 2nd, Jeff Matrician 3rd. Justin Henderson now piloting the R19, previously driven by Micah Schleman. Justin Henderson will wheel that car around turns number 3 and 4 to the white line as we get set to go. Doug Clark takes a long look at him. 2 by 2 and nose to tail. They work to turn number 4, green flag. Brooke Tatnall with the early lead into turn number 2. Ricky Logan and Terry McCarl running 1, 2, 3 down the back chute. Justin Henderson running in that 4th and final transfer. Nick Haygood, Scotty Neitzel, Steve Meyer, Robert Bell and Bill McCroskey. Ricky Logan up front trying to reel in Brooke Tatnall as Terry McCarl now takes a look at Ricky Logan to the high side of turn number 3. Your race is for 2nd. Terry McCarl now moves around the high side and Ricky Logan down the front straightaway. He's got his sights set on Brooke Tatnall racing into turn 2. Brooke Tatnall works the cushion off turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Terry McCarl in tow. McCarl still working the cushion, reeling him in off turn number 4. Ricky Logan running in that 3rd spot. Justin Henderson running 4th. Henderson runs in that 4th and final transfer, and Nick Haygood about 3 car lengths behind in 5th. Nick Haygood trying to make his way into tonight's feature event, reeling in Justin Henderson as they race into turn number 3. Brooke Tatnall able to hold off Terry McCarl in turn 2. Tatnall with the advantage down the back straightaway. Single file racing around the half mile at the Marion County Fairgrounds. Oh, Nick Haygood, turn 2. Yellow, yellow, yellow. The yellow lights are off. All the cars are riding up on the cushion as they work off turn 4. The hammer drops and green flag is out. Terry McCarl dives to the bottom side. Your races for the lead. However, Brooke Tatnall powers past him down the back straightaway. Brooke Tatnall stays on the top spot as Scotty Neitzel moves around Justin Henderson for the 4th and final transfer. Justin Henderson not able to hold off Neitzel for the transfer spot. Terry McCarl takes the lead down the back chute. Brooke Tatnall not able to hold off the slide job, but Terry McCarl in 2. Now McCarl leading off turn 4. Brooke Tatnall still running in that 2nd spot. Ricky Logan a solid run in 3rd. Scotty Neitzel running 4th. Justin Henderson, then it's Steve Myers, Bill McCroskey, Nick Haygood, and Robert Bell. White flag for Terry McCarl, 1 to go for your Knoxville Raceway points leader. Terry McCarl pilots the Sander Engineering, Bosma Poultry, Swanks Custom Cabinets, Tim Housby. Car number 24 on the cushion through turn 3, works turn 4, now off turn 4. Checkered flags out, your winner, Terry McCarl. Brooke Tatnall runs 2nd, Ricky Logan 3rd, and Scotty Neitzel comes home in that 4th and final transfer.
As we said, the top 4 will go to the back of tonight's 410A feature. And watch the front 2 cars as they work their way through turns 3 and 4. Field nice and even, nice and tight as they work to the white chalk line. Coming out of turn number 4, Chris Walraven accelerates down the front stretch, takes the lead down the front straightaway. John Vandenberg looks to the inside of Meyer for 2nd. Vandenberg has it, Meyer slips to 3rd, Haygood 4th. Jennington rounds off turn number 2 and 5th. Beckman falls to 6th. Here comes Dave Westerkamp on the inside. Steve Jennington making a run for 4th on Nick Haygood. Jennington low, Haygood up top on the cushion. Jennington has it, Haygood now dips low going into turn number 1, looking for the 4th spot back. 3 wide in the middle of turn number 2. Steve Meyer up top, Jennington in the middle, Haygood low. Up front, Chris Walraven walking away from 2nd place, John Vandenberg. Now Jennington works low on Meyer. Derek Beckman now pulls up behind Haygood. Thought about going low, decided to go high, now jumps the cushion in turn 1. Leonard Lee sneaks by Beckman for 7th. Beckman goes back by Lee. Lee now gets a run on Beckman in turn number 3, side by side through 3 and 4. Beckman up top. Lee slides up to block Beckman. Beckman powers by on the outside, very close to the inside fence. Now Beckman gets sideways. They bump wheels in turn number 1. Leonard Lee now goes past Derek Beckman coming out of turn number 2. There you see your leader, Chris Walraven, stretching it out. John Vandenberg 2nd. Steve Jennington comfortably in 3rd. The 4th place now, Steve Meyer holds it. Nick Haygood wants it. That's the 4th and final transfer spot. Leonard Lee started 10th, now 6th. 2 spots out of the transfer. Has a good run going down the back straightaway. Reeling in 5th place, Nick Haygood. Your leader now in traffic. Chris Walraven encounters the lap machine of Bill McCroskey. Now goes low on Robert Bell through turn 3. Leonard Lee eases up beside Nick Haygood coming out of turn number 2. Haygood holds 5th. Lee continues to run 6th. Jerry Richard Jr. now powers to the bottom of Derek Beckman through 3 and 4, has 7th. Steve Meyer holds 4th. Nick Haygood right behind. Leonard Lee looking for that 4th and final transfer spot. Here comes Jerry Richard Jr. on the bottom, working hard. The GB Graphics number 45, Jerry Richard Jr. on the move in this one. There goes Leonard Lee by Nick Haygood and Steve Meyer. Leonard Lee goes to 4th. A bold move by Leonard Lee in turn number 1. Chris Walraven continues to lead this one. John Vandenberg gets squeezed into the backstretch fence by Robert Bell. Vandenberg attempting to let Bell, got squeezed into the fence, continues on. Walraven now stretching it out, has about a quarter straightaway lead. Jennington continues to hold 3rd. 4th now, Leonard Lee up from the 10th position. Fifth to Nick Haygood. Sixth to Jerry Richard Jr. Steve Meyer off the pace a little bit. Beckman goes by for seventh. Northway now works to the inside. Walraven now works the lap machine of Justin Henderson as he works through turns 3 and 4. This time by your starter, Doug Clark, shows him the white flag. One to go for Chris Walraven. Second place continues to be John Vandenberg as he works on the lap machine of Patrick Bork. Third to Steve Jennington. Fourth as they cross the line, Leonard Lee. Nick Haygood one spot out in fifth. JD Moyle having a good run in sixth, now trying to pull even with Haygood. And here he comes out of turn number 4, picking up the win. That's Chris Walraven. Vandenberg comes home second, Jennington third. Leonard Lee picks up fourth. Well, you can see the field now working its way down the backstretch. Ricky Logan, Kerry Madsen up front. Mark Taze, Dennis Moore Jr., row 2. Hoping to get a little cleaner start. I bet Ricky Logan, mindful that earful he got from Doug Clark on that last restart. Logan jumps out to the lead. Madsen, though, up on the cushion now, dips low, tries to get underneath Logan. Logan accelerates down the back straightaway, stretches it out a bit. Mark Taze third, Dennis Moore Jr. fourth.
Dennis Moore Jr. looks to the bottom side of Mark Taves as Don Droud Jr. working the field off turn 4 now, falls back in line. Looks like he's in the 6th spot now. Terry McCarl slingshots to the bottom side, passes 2 cars for third. Ricky Logan showing the way off turn number 4. Your race leader, Kerry Madsen, running second. Terry McCarl running in that 3rd spot. Dennis Moore Jr. 4th. Mark Taves is 5th. Don Droud Jr. 6th. Randy Anderson 7th. Manny Rockhold 8th. Now Skip Jackson moves up to 8th. Manny Rockhold 9th. And Matt Morrow is 10th.
Up front continues to be Ricky Logan running the high side. Everybody upstairs right now. Madsen 2nd. McCarl 3rd. Moore 4th. Taze holds 5th. Droud Jr. trying to close on Taze. Droud Jr. gets over the cushion, bumps the wall just a bit in turn number 1, straightens it out. Now taking a look at Mark Taze as he goes through turn number 3.
Leaps and bounds down the back straightaway. That describes Don Droud Jr. as he approaches the 5T car of Mark Taves. Dives to the bottom side in turn 1, side by side, makes a clean pass into the 5th spot. Off turn 2, now Mark Taves back on his bumper.
As your leader, Ricky Logan, works lap number 5. Matrician gets over the cushion, bumps the fence a bit in turn 2, straightens it back out, battles with Oskaloosa native John Vandenberg.
Your leader, Ricky Logan, working lap traffic 3 wide in turn 2. You got Matt Morrow, Walraven, and Manny Rockhold battling for position down the back straightaway. That's for 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Terry McCarl goes to 2nd. Slingshots by Kerry Madsen, turn number 2. Logan leads. Now McCarl takes a look. 3 and 4. McCarl slides up in front of Ricky Logan. Takes the lead coming out of turn number 4.
Nose to tail. Ricky Logan back in the 2nd spot. Now Kerry Madsen working on Logan. Slides to the bottom side. Up to the cushion. Bang, bang, bang. Then bang off the cushion down turn 2. Kerry Madsen moves up to 2nd. Terry McCarl, your new race leader, working lap traffic in turn 4. Puts the lap car of John Vandenberg between Terry McCarl and Kerry Madsen, who runs 2nd.
Madsen now gets up over the berm, trying to make a run at McCarl through 2. Droud Jr. slides up behind. Dennis Moore Jr. runs 5th. Mark Taze 6th. Anderson 7th. Anderson gets into the fence coming out of turn number 2, straightens it out down the back straightaway. Cushion getting right up next to the fence. A lot of guys bumping the fence as they work through the corners.
Meanwhile, Leonard Lee works Manny Rockhold for 13th down the back straightaway. Takes the position away as Steve Jennington also working around Jeff Matrician in turns 3 and 4. Your leader, Terry McCarl, working traffic in turn 4. Oh, Ricky Logan spins her out in turn 4, keeps the hammer down, and continues. We stay green as we're halfway.
Logan loses about 5 spots as Taze, Anderson, Tatnall all slip by. Skip Jackson now right on Ricky Logan. Great job, Ricky Logan, straightening it back out.
Well, Terry McCarl has a lap car of Scotty Neitzel between, now 2 lap cars between he and Kerry Madsen for second. Now Don Drow Jr. slides up, passes Dennis Moore Jr. for the 3rd spot in turn 2.
Mark Tays charges down the backstretch in 5th, now closing on Dennis Moore as they work through turn number 3.
Randy Anderson runs 6th, Brooke Tatnell 7th. Ricky Logan 8th, Skip Jackson 9th, and Travis Whitney is 10th.
McCarl now works off turn number 4 to complete lap 13. 13 down, 7 laps remaining. Kerry Madsen about a corner behind. Madsen running the very bottom of the speedway now. Don Drow Jr. closing on the high side. Drow Jr. the big charge coming out of turn number 2. Now dips below the lap machine of Steve Jennington as he works through 3. Drow Jr. really closing fast on 2nd place, Kerry Madsen.
Your race for 5th, Randy Anderson on the bottom side of Mark Taves, got it in turn 4. Mark Taves tries to make it back around, and now Brooke Tatnell slingshots at the bottom side of Taves, passes Anderson. Oh, Anderson, able to move around him on the high side, stays up on the cushion. Terry McCarl with the wick turned up and the kite string out, leads the way in turn 2. Kerry Madsen still 2nd, Don Drow Jr. a close 3rd. Dennis Moore Jr. running 4th, Randy Anderson 5th, Brooke Tatnell 6th, Mark Taves 7th. Ricky Logan, after spinning in turn 4, is starting to work back up through the field. Currently back up into the 8th spot, right behind Mark Taves as they race traffic down the back straightaway.
Don Drow Jr. continues to work on Kerry Madsen down the back straightaway. Here goes Drow, maybe thinking about trying the bottom, instead tucks back in on the high side. Drow Jr. closing quick on 2nd place, Kerry Madsen. Keep your eye on the yellow car. Drow Jr. goes low in turn number 1, slides up in front. Just barely misses Kerry Madsen in turn number 2. Madsen sneaks by down the back straightaway. White flag is out for your leader. White flag is out for Terry McCarl.
Terry McCarl leads it down the back straightaway for the final time. Tucks it to the bottom side at turn number 3 and 4. Working the low groove of the speedway. Don Drow Jr. checkered flags out for Terry McCarl. Kerry Madsen 2nd, Don Drow Jr. 3rd, Dennis Moore Jr. 4th. Randy Anderson comes home 5th. Brooke Tatnell 6th, Mark Taves 7th.
Well, race fans, I'll tell you what, I don't know how much longer this thing had left in it. Gauges looked okay to you, though, or what?
Yeah, we got an oil leak or something. I'm not real sure. That's Glenn's deal. I just try to drive this thing, but appreciate that fan support up there. It just motivates me, and we got a good team this year, and just got to thank Eagle Chassis, Hoosier Tires, all my sponsors that make this deal. These guys work real hard, especially when you're trying to run 2 teams.
Terry and I got double duty tonight and already sound a little windy. Kind of a tough racetrack out there to hold on to.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's real tough over there in 1. There's a couple of real bad holes, and it really upsets the car. And I told you last night I'm getting a little too old for these double duty deals, I'll tell you what. But Westmar engine's running real good. That's nothing real serious. We've got a little bit of oil leak, and I think Westmar's on the front row of this 360 deal, and they won both features last night. So the Westmar engines are the only way to go, I think. And I just want to thank Bosma Poultry, Sander Engineering, all the guys that go with us. Got a bunch of little sponsors on the car, Dave and Sherry Belkoven, and Swank's Custom Cabinets, Good Auto Parts. You know, they do what they can for us, and it all really helps us out a lot.
Sounds good. I'm going to get out of the way, let the photographers do their job, ladies and gentlemen. Advanced Auto Parts 410 feature winner of the seating. Give it up for Terry McCarl.
Promises to be a very long and eventful evening. We've got a lot of racing to do tonight. We're going to keep the show moving. And as the sun sets, coming out of turn number 4, Schneiderman and Alexander bring him to the line. Schneiderman leads him to turn number 1. Alexander runs through the middle. There you see Travis Scott going 3 wide of Tom Lenz, Eric Miller. Side by side for the lead down the backstretch. Alexander inches ahead going into turn number 3. Alexander with the lead. Schneiderman drops to 2nd. Tom Lenz runs 3rd. Travis Scott up to 4th, and Eric Miller rounds out the top 5. Scott now goes low on Tom Lenz for 3rd. Alexander stretches his lead slightly down the backstretch and through 4. Schneiderman runs 2nd. Scott on the bottom looking at Schneiderman. 4th, Tom Lenz. 5th, Eric Miller. 6th, JP Bailey moving up from the rear of the field. As we said, 8 laps, continues to be Terry Alexander up front. Schneiderman under heavy pressure from Travis Scott. Scott goes low in turn number 1 and 2. Scott looks to have a good run on Schneiderman, inches ahead coming on to turn number 2. Side by side down the backstretch, Schneiderman high, Scott low. Continue to race side by side down the front stretch at the flag stand. Schneiderman ahead just by a little bit. Terry Alexander stretches it out to almost the straightaway lead now. Tight battle for 2nd. Tom Lenz continues to run 4th. Eric Miller now under heavy pressure from JP Bailey. Scott now edges ahead of Schneiderman for 2nd. As there you see JP Bailey working on Eric Miller for 5th. Up front, coming off turn number 4 this time by, he'll see the white flag. 1 lap to go for your leader. Terry Alexander now a battle for 3rd. Tom Lenz goes by Bart Schneiderman. Lenz goes to 3rd, now sets his sights on Travis Scott. Scott gets over the berm on 1 and 2. Tom Lenz closed the gap slightly. Coming off turn number 4, picking up the win in tonight's E-Main, that's Terry Alexander. Coming home 2nd, Travis Scott. 3rd goes to Tom Lenz. 4th to the 2X, Bart Schneiderman.
Has been smoking quite heavily here in these pace laps at the Advanced Auto Parts D-Main event. All right, yellow lights are off, pace truck pulls to the infield. We go green at the white line at turn number 4. 10 laps will be the distance. Again, we'll fill the C-Main event, so not sure how many cars will transfer, but we will pass those on. Jesse Hockett sets the pace. Joe Beaver outside, run number 1 to the white line in turn 4. Larry DeCry takes a long look at him, green flag. Down the chute, and oh, hang on, Stacy Alexander. Holy cow, says Jack Miller. We've got cars aplenty upside down in turn 1 and 2. To the white line in turn 4 this time by, green flag. Everybody trying to make it gingerly through turns 1 and 2 as they work down the back straightaway. Joey Beaver showing the way down the back chute. Jesse Hockett running 2nd. Alan Zood running in that 3rd spot. Here comes Tom Lenz now up to challenge. Look at Tom Lenz move toward the front. Tom Lenz, one of the transfer cars out of the E-Main event. But Joe Beaver's got the wick turned up and the kite string out as he works off turn number 4. Showing the way in that Bishop Farms, Parker Engines, Jocko's, car number 53. Jesse Hockett running in that 2nd spot. Alan Zoot running 3rd. T-Bone, Travis Scott running in the 4th spot. Tom Lenz running 5th. JP Bailey now moving forward in the field, starting to reel in Tom Lenz over in turn 1. JP Bailey all the way from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, trying to make his way in up through the alphabet soup tonight as he's got a long road to hoe. Travis Scott, also one of the transfer cars from the E-main event, currently running in that 4th spot. As Terry Alexander also moves up through the field. He's passed about 5 cars on the restart, now working down the back chute. Steve Jennington works the bottom side off turn number 4, moving around Adam Mason. And Travis Scott working around the 8L of Tom Lenz down the back straightaway, now working on the 33 of Alan Zoot. And Jesse Hockett starting to smoke down the front chute. Jesse Hockett currently running in that number 2 position, but not for long as he starts to slow over in turn number 2. Meanwhile, your leader lapping cars off turn number 4 now. Jesse Hockett well off the pedal down the back straightaway. And that's going to bring out the yellow in this Advanced Auto Parts D-main event. Joe Beavers bringing him around to the orange cone here on the front chute. The yellow lights are off, green flags waving. And we're green flag. T-Bone Travis Scott works to the bottom side of turn 2, now takes over the 2nd spot. Alan Zoot in 3rd. Here comes JP Bailey up into the 4th spot, working on Tom Lenz. Lenz says, no, my friend. They go side by side off turn 4. Bailey with the advantage down the front chute. JP Bailey with his hands full of Tom Lenz races off turn number 2 in the 4th spot. Lenz falling back to 6. Now here comes Steve Jennington to the bottom side of turn 3. White flag, 1 to go for Joe Beaver. Travis Scott still running 2nd. Alan Zoot 3rd. JP Bailey running 4th. Tom Lenz 5th and challenging. Steve Jennington running 6th. Adam Mason 7th. Kent Winters 8th. And Eric Mason 9th. And Terry Alexander 10th. Checkered flag for your winner, Joe Beaver. Travis Scott running 2nd. Alan Zoot 3rd. JP Bailey 4th. Tom Lenz is 5th.
Tonight's Advanced Auto Parts 360's C-Main, BJ Bays, Kevin Ramey up front. Couple drivers from the state of Texas. You see Travis Scott, that number 17 car, has been smoking all night long. Scott, of course, has been racing all night here. Continues to smoke.
But we'll see if we can get Mike Roberts over there to find out what.
Not seem to affect the performance. And as the field rolls off turn number 4, Kevin Ramey leads them down front. Jeff Matrician now goes to 2nd, Bates to 3rd. Wayne Pennington up top on the cushion. Curtis Thorson now runs 4th, flies in front of Pennington. Down the backstretch, Ramey stretches it out on Matrician. Bays runs 3rd. As there you see Curtis Thorson nipping underneath BJ Bays coming out of 4. Thorson goes to 3rd, Bays to 4th. Larry Ball Jr. way down low, 3 wide through turn number 2. Mike Trent in the middle. Car stacking up behind Tim Deaver coming out of turn number 2. Deaver got over the berm, slowed up slightly. Up front continues to be Ramey, Matrician, Thorson, Ball Jr. now 4th, Mike Trent 5th, Bays back to 6th, Turner 7th, Higday run 8th, Langerud 9th, and Liebig rounds out the top 10. Rodney Turner now gets a good run on Bays going down the backstretch, goes by for 6th. Up front, Jeff Matrician starting to reel in your leader, Kevin Ramey. Matrician edges ever closer as they work through turn number 3 and 4, completing lap number 4 as they hit the flag stand. Ramey has about a 6-7 car length lead. Matrician cuts it down dramatically in turns 1 and 2. Thorson back a little ways in 3rd, Ball 4th, Trent 5th, Turner 6th, Higday 7th, Langerud 8th, Bays 9th. Shane Liebig continues to round out the top 10. Now Matrician pulls up on the Nerf bar of Kevin Ramey as they work down the backstretch, getting very close to lap traffic. The lap machine is Alan Zoot just ahead. Matrician now dives low, pulls even with Ramey coming down. Now tucks behind. Ramey stretches out just a little bit going and back into turn number 1. Larry Ball Jr. looks to the inside of Curtis Thorson for 3rd. Thorson holds the spot now. Mike Trent has a good run on Larry Ball Jr. Trent now goes low on Ball for 4th. Up front, Matrician now working still on Kevin Ramey. Ramey stretches it out. There's a lap machine right in front. Matrician goes low through 3 and 4. Ramey bump on the cushion. Curtis Thorson runs a little ways back in third. Now Larry Ball closes on Thorson down the front straightaway. Trent runs 5th. Turner 6th. Higday 7th. 8 laps down, 4 laps remaining. Tonight's C main, Kevin Ramey continues to lead. Matrician now falling back slightly. Your leader, though, in heavy traffic has the 8L, Tom Lenz, the 17 of Travis Scott just ahead. Matrician now pulls even on the backstretch. And yellow is out. Larry Ball Jr. spins the coast-to-coast 5J in turn number 2. As you can see, your leader picks up the throttle coming off turn number 4. Ramey with a good jump on Matrician, takes the green. There you see Josh Higday now working for 4th on Mike Trent. Higday started in 6th. There you see now Josh Higday applying the pressure to Mike Trent for 4th. Rodney Turner low on Shane Liebig. Oh, we go into the fence. JP Bailey got into the fence in turn number 1, tipped it over. A red flag on the speedway. JP Bailey got into the fence. As you can see, the throttles hit the floor and the green flag waves for your leader, Kevin Ramey. 3rd, Curtis Thorson didn't get on the gas. Way back now, Mike Trent goes on the low side. Trent goes to 3rd. Higday also tries to slide up in front of Thorson, doesn't work. Trent to 3rd, Thorson to 4th. Higday runs 5th, leaving 6th. White flag waves for your leader, Kevin Ramey up front. Matrician runs 2nd. Joe Bieber goes low on Lauren Langerud for 7th. And as he rounds off turn number 4, Kevin Ramey picks up the win in tonight's Advanced Auto Parts 360 C main. Jeff Matrician comes home 2nd. Mike Trent 3rd. Curtis Thorson 4th.
John Bankston, 61 years of age, racing with us here a couple weeks ago in our Goodyear's Masters Classic. And now competing with us tonight here at the Advanced Auto Parts 360 Nationals, getting set to go. Pace trucks are in. We'll go green to the white line in turn 4. Robert Sellers working through turns 3 and 4, setting the pace to the white line. Green flags out and we're racing. Well, Robert Sellers got a great jump on the field as he leads them into turns 1 and 2. Ed Ergenbride racing 2nd, but how about that Robert Sellers? Down the back straightaway with a foot to the floor, racing to turn 4. This time by lap number 1, going to be Robert Sellers leading the way. Ed Ergenbride running 2nd. You'll race now in that 3rd spot, Dennis Moore Jr. and Dave Middleswart as Dennis Moore Jr. races up into 3rd. Dave Middleswart running 4th. Christy Pasmore runs 5th. Tony Norum now on the charge in the 6th spot as Pasmore to the bottom side of Middleswart. Got it, slide job off turn 4. And Tony Norum sets him up like a trophy on the bookshelf and slides around Pasmore and Middleswart for 2 positions up into the 4th spot down the back chute. Robert Sellers still your race leader, but Ed Ergenbride starting to reel him in down the front straightaway. Racing over into turn 2. Keep your eye on Ed Ergenbride up front. Your race for the lead down the back chute. Robert Sellers, Ed Ergenbride, Dennis Moore Jr. now in the mix, the top 3 cars. Very close to each other as they race off turn 4 down the front straightaway. Not far ahead, lap traffic. Robert Sellers bangs the cushion. Ed Ergenbride does the same thing. Nose to tail off turn 4, turn 2. Dennis Moore Jr. sets up Ergenbride to the bottom side. Powers by him on the bottom side. Ergenbride back to 3rd. Dennis Moore Jr. up to 2nd. Robert Sellers, meanwhile, way out front. Now look at Tony Norum. Just passes those 2 cars like no problem. Slide job. Everybody's on the binders in turn 2. Dennis Moore Jr. nearly stops in turn 2 for the slide job of Tony Norum. Holy cow, can you believe it? Tony Norum put the slide for life, literally didn't pay off because Dennis Moore Jr. just took the lead from Robert Sellers. Tony Norum still in that third spot. Can you believe it, race fans? Here comes Norum down to the bottom side of Sellers for second. Dennis Moore Jr., Tony Norum, Robert Sellers, Ed Ergenbright, Christy Passmore now puts the hammer on Ed Ergenbright in turn 1 and 2. Christy Passmore now moves up into the fourth spot. Ed Ergenbright falls back to fifth. Dennis Moore Jr. showing the way off turn 4. Here comes Norum once again. Tony Norum passing cars 2 at a time like it's no problem. As Terry Thorson now slows right in front of your leaders. Holy cow, Dennis Moore Jr. nearly gets rear-ended by Tony Norum in turn 2. Down the back straightaway, they work by the lap car of Terry Thorson. Woo! Dennis Moore Jr., 2 close calls, nearly gets taken out by Tony Norum on a slide job. But now showing the way down the back straightaway, everybody kind of settles back down into the seat of the race car. Tony Norum running second. Robert Sellers running third, and boy, are they pulling away from third. Christy Passmore all over Robert Sellers down the front straightaway. Ed Ergenbright running in that fifth spot right behind Passmore as Passmore works around Robert Sellers for third. But Sellers tries to charge back on the high side. Passmore slams the door on him into turn 3. Here comes Tim St. Arnold. Moves around him 3 wide in turn 4. Tim St. Arnold puts on a late race charge as 11 laps are down, 4 to go. 11 down, 4 to go. Dennis Moore Jr. still your race leader. Dennis Moore Jr. driving into turn number 1. Tony Norum running second. Look at him pull right up behind Dennis Moore Jr. and a slide into turn 2. Down the back straightaway, a lap car of Johnny Anderson running between Dennis Moore Jr. and Tony Norum. Norum slingshots around the high side of turn 4 up on the cushion. Dennis Moore Jr. running a low line on the speedway, hugs the bottom side of turn number 1, slides up to the cushion, again putting a lap car. Mike Trent nearly getting drove over by Tony Norum in turn 2. Tony Norum doing all he can to catch Dennis Moore Jr., but not gonna happen as the white flag's out. 1 to go for Dennis Moore Jr. Again, Norum tries to slide him over in turn 2, but Dennis Moore powers away down the back straightaway. He's bringing the DZ truck accessories off turn number 4, the Jocko's Auto Parts Sprinter to the checkered flag, this time by your winner, Dennis Moore Jr. Tony Norum running second, Christy Passmore running third, Tim St. Arnold comes home fourth. You got it right in front of you. The 360 Nationals, sponsored by Advanced Auto Parts and the ASCS Group, presented by United Express Line, getting set to go for 25 laps to pace trucks to the infield. Terry McCarl, Don Drought Jr. sitting on row number 1. Larry Neighbors, Larry Pinniger on row 2. As they go nose to tail into turn number 3. We'll go green to the white line in turn 4. Larry DeCreif gets in position on the flag stand. Keep one eye on your flagman, one eye on the front row. Terry McCarl brings them off turn 4. Green flag.
McCarl leads the field into turn 1. Drought works through the middle of the speedway. Terry slides up high. Everybody clean thus far. Neighbors goes to third past Pinniger. John Carney getting to the fence a little bit. Straightens it back out down the back straightaway. Drought now works low on McCarl coming out of turn number 4.
Terry McCarl brings him around for lap number 1. Don Drought Jr. running second. Your race now in that 4th spot. Matt Morrow slide job right in front of Larry Pinniger. Oh, they get together in turn 2.
Big tangle, turn number 2. Wayne Johnson slips by. Ricky Logan working the bottom. Logan to 5th. Johnson to 4th.
Wayne Johnson takes advantage of battling in turn 2 to move up to the 4th spot. Ricky Logan running 5th. They go 3 wide down the front straightaway. Matt Moore to the bottom side.
John Carney works the high side. Now splits between Pinniger and Morrow.
Larry Pinniger and John Carney battling it out into turn 3. 3 wide. Matt Morrow on the high side. 3 by 3, they race through turn 4.
Up front, McCall stretching out on Don Drought Jr. Larry Neighbors runs 3rd, Johnson 4th, Logan 5th, Morrow 6th, Pinniger 7th, Carney back to 8th, Randy Miller runs 9th, rounding out the top 10. Kerry Madsen rounds out the top 10 up front. Now your leader's getting close to lap traffic.
Randy Martin moving up to the field, now up into the 11th spot. Brian Brown running 12th. Jake Peters and the field filing out down the front straightaway. Terry McCarl works around the lap car of Jesse Janetto down the front straightaway.
Don Drought Jr. now takes a look to the inside of McCarl. Lost a lot of momentum. McCarl stretches it out down the back straightaway. Heavy traffic in front of your leader.
The lap car of Roger Reger right ahead of Terry McCarl as they work off turn 4. Lap traffic ahead, about 3 car lengths behind is Don Drought Jr. McCarl runs about the top portion of the racetrack. Don Drought Jr. slides from the bottom up to the cushion in turn 2, down the back chute.
Neighbors still 3rd, Johnson 4th, Logan 5th, Morrow 6th. Pinniger goes by Carney for 7th.
John Carney running in the 8th spot is Terry McCarl. Lots of traffic, splits the lap cars, threads the needle. Slide job around Christy Passmore as Don Drought Jr. working the cushion, trying to keep within striking distance of Terry McCarl.
McCarl up high, Drought Jr. works low, slides up in front of Passmore. Neighbors trying to use the open track to reel in the leaders. Johnson back a little ways in 4th. Ricky Logan now closing the gap for 4th.
Lots of lap traffic around your race leaders as they go down the front straightaway. Terry McCarl up on the cushion. Don Drought Jr. running 2nd. Now 2 lap cars ahead of your leader, slowing down, allowing Don Drought Jr. to reel him in. McCarl goes low, Drought goes high.
McCarl powers by the lap cars. Drought now stuck behind Zach Chappell as they work through turn number 1. McCarl up top on the cushion, clean air.
Terry McCarl really putting some distance. Some distance between he and Don Drought Jr. as lap traffic really starting to affect your leaders. Heavy traffic.
Ricky Logan now is closed on 4th place, Wayne Johnson. And Matt Morrow also running just a little behind Logan in 6th. Pinniger 7th, John Carney 8th.
Terry McCarl now lapping up to the 14th position as Don Drought Jr. still running 2nd. Larry Neighbors 3rd, Wayne Johnson 4th, Ricky Logan 5th, Matt Morrow with a good run in 6th. Most of the racing being done up on the high side of the racetrack, some passing done on the bottom side of turn 4. Don Drought Jr. trying to catch Terry McCarl. Terry McCarl works around the lap car of Dennis Moore Jr. down the back straightaway. Laps are down. 13 down for Terry McCarl.
McCarl gets into the fence in turn 1, bumps the fence a little, keeps it going. The lap machine of Dennis Moore Jr. still between them. Awfully tricky getting through turn number 1. McCarl bobbled a bit, tapped the fence, maintains his lead, but Drought Jr. is close slightly now. Lead down to about a half a straightaway. McCarl goes a little easier into turn number 1 this time.
Fatigue could definitely be a factor for Terry McCarl, just getting done with 20 laps now, hopping right back in the car for another 25 as Don Drought Jr. tries to reel him in turn 4.
Heavy traffic in front of your leader. McCarl splits between Brian Brown, Randy Miller. Drought Jr. goes around the outside, closes on Terry McCarl. Lead down to about 2 or 3 car lengths down the back straightaway.
Your top 2 cars move around Brian Brown like no problem off turn 4. Your race still up front. Oh, Zach Chappell spins in turn 4. Yellow, 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 yellow. Holy cow, race fans.
Brings them low off turn number 4.
Don Drought Jr. goes to the top side of the racetrack to get a run on Terry McCarl, but McCarl able to power down the back straightaway, still your race leader. Don Drought Jr., Larry Neighbors, Johnson, now Ricky Logan up to challenge. Johnson for 4th. Ricky Logan to the bottom side of the racetrack in turn 2, tried to make his move on Johnson, but didn't make it happen down the back chute. Now Matt Morrow up to challenge Ricky Logan for 5th.
Terry McCall stretching out the lead slightly on Don Drow Jr. Neighbors now gets a little sideways in turn number 1, falls back a bit. Wayne Johnson runs 4th, Logan 5th. Tony Norm coming up, running 7th, now passes Pinniger, works him down the backstretch. Norm looks low on Matt Morrow for 5th. Excuse me, for 6th. Norm's got it. Norm to 6th from 22nd.
Terry McCarl able to just pull away from Don Drow Jr. down the back chute. Has clear traffic ahead. Laps are winding down. 20 down, 5 to go for Terry McCarl. Oh, and the Bulldog stubs his nose into the turn 1 fence. Jesse Janetto. Seems as though Terry McCarl has left no return address. As he's pulling away from the field, Don Drow Jr. a solid run in 2nd. Larry Neighbors 3rd. Wayne Johnson 4th. Ricky Logan 5th. Tony Norm 6th. Matt Morrow 7th. Larry Pinniger 8th. Randy Martin 9th. And Kerry Madsen 10th.
Your leader now approaches the lap machine of Jesse Gianetto. McCarl dives low. Drow still working the high side. McCarl bounces over the cushion a bit in 2. Drow now trying to close. Squeezes between Danny Jennings and Jesse Gianetto.
White flag, 1 to go for Terry McCarl.
McCarl bobbles in turn 1 and 2, straightens it back out. A lap car, Ryan Anderson between your leaders. McCarl now powers into turn number 3. Nice and easy through 3 and 4, slides up. Has about a corner advantage, comes off turn number 4. Terry McCarl picks up the win. 2 feature wins in 1 night for Terry McCarl. Well, Terry's out of the car now. Giving White Flory a big hug. Send it down to Mike Roberts on the stage. A little ways away from Terry McCarl. He's too excited to drive over that stage, Mike.
I don't know what he was thinking. He tried doing that for the 410 feature and couldn't get it done, so he decided he wanted to do it there, I guess.
How about a big hand for your 2001 Advanced Auto Parts 360 National Champion, Terry McCarl!
It's been a long time since you two have been together, a whole race ago, huh?
I told her she kissed so good the first time I missed her already.
Terry, quite a race out there. I don't know if the yellow helped you or saved you or did harm against you, but lap traffic kind of got technical there towards the end.
Yeah, I was just trying not to make a mistake in traffic. I figured even if they caught me, they had to get by me. So it was real treacherous over there 1 and 2. And actually, the last couple laps, I started slowing down a little bit, being too cautious, and I about crashed the darn thing. That shows you got to be